Welcome to Nancy's Corner for May. I have so many good things to tell you about today. I'm so excited about all of these books. It's going to be mostly children because we're going to talk about the summer, but I do have two really good adult books for you that I'm going to start off with. The first one is an audio book. It is The Lost Manuscript by Kathy Bonadin. And this is read by 4 different people, so you have different voices. It takes place in Paris. When you go from Paris to London, you have Americans, you have English, you have French. So all the different voices really add to the story. This lady is in a hotel room one weekend for a vacation. She opens up the night table drawer and finds a manuscript. So she reads it, and she really enjoys it. It's very good. And there's a name and address towards the middle of the manuscript. So she takes it with her, and when she gets back home, she decides to contact this person. So she sends him a letter and mails the manuscript back, excuse me, and he sends her a letter back and says, "Thank you so much for finding my manuscript. I lost it 30 years ago." So she decides that she and her best friend are going to track down everybody who has ever touched this manuscript in the last 30 years. And they do it. It is a really fun book. There's a little romance in it. It is all written in the form of letters. Now it is in modern times. I believe it's 2016. So there are a couple of emails, but instead of being written like a regular book with chapters, it's all letters from the back and forth from the people that have been involved with this manuscript. Really good. The next one is The Kitchen Front by Jennifer Ryan. This takes place in, I believe, 1939. The war is on in England, and the BBC radio show has a program called The Kitchen Front where they tell people how to use their rations and have recipes. And it's hosted by a man, so they decide they want a woman to co-host with him. So they're going to have a cooking contest. So these 5 women join the contest. 2 of them are sisters. One of them married for love and is very poor. Her husband was killed in the war. The other sister married for money and power and to an abusive husband. The next group is the rich sister's head cook and her assistant. And the last woman is an unwed mother who was working in a hotel as the head chef when it was bombed, and she is now billeted in the poor sister's house. Well, you can imagine these women do not get along at all, and now they're competing against each other. They even have recipes using the rations and the things that you can hunt and grow in your garden, so it's really interesting. Well, as the book goes on, 4 of the women end up living in the same house. They are still competing against each other, even though they're cooking in the same kitchen. I'm not going to tell you who wins. It's a little slow in the beginning. I almost didn't finish it, but I am so glad I did. It turned out to be a delightful book. It highlights the strength and resilience of women in a hard time, female friendship, starting businesses together. Really a delightful book. I hope you come in and look at it. Now we're going to get to the kids' books, my favorites. We start out with Daisy by Jessica Bagley. Daisy is a warthog, and when she starts school, she's really, really shy, and the kids don't like her, and they make fun of her. So she always walks with her head down. But by having her head down, she finds all these treasures on the ground, like broken pieces of china and something shiny, a ribbon. So she picks it all up, and she makes this little clearing in the forest for herself where she keeps all of her treasures. So she's going to her little treasure trove one day, and she sees a piece of china on the ground, and she goes, "Oh, that's pretty. Somebody must have left it for me." So every few days she finds another present, and you find out it's one of her classmates, the skunk, who really nobody wants to be friends with the skunk either. And they get to be friends, and they share their treasures, and it's really, really sweet. And if you go back in the pictures in the beginning of the book, when you find out who's leaving her the treasures, you see the little skunk sitting by herself too. So it's very, very sweet. This one I'm going to say. Okay. This is very clever. The Alphabet's Alphabet. It's written by Chris Harris. And every letter of the alphabet he compares to another one. So it would be, let me give you an example. A is an H that won't stand upright. And B is a D with a belt on too tight. So he goes through the whole alphabet like that. I believe S is the only one that is itself. Very, very clever. If you look in the very back of the book, there's a code where you can, I did it. I wrote out the alphabet and then I wrote all the letters that he compared it to next to it, and you can read the message. Very clever, a lot of fun. I think kids are going to like that. This is very good. I wish I had this one for Women's History Month. It's called Standing on Her Shoulders by Monica Clark Robinson. And they're telling this little girl about all the women who came before her, starting with her mother and her grandmother, and that she is standing on all of their shoulders. And it goes back in time all the way from Sojourner Truth, all the way up to modern times with Hillary Clinton, Megan Rapinoe, and it's all of these strong women who have paved the way for the women today. And it ends where they're asking the little girl, who's going to stand on your shoulders? I love this book. And they also they just show the women's pictures throughout the book, and at the end they have a little short biography of each one that they've shown the picture of. Okay. This one is Mother Bruce by Ryan T. Higgins, and Mr. Higgins gave us permission because of COVID and the schools closing to read his books for our story time. So both of these have been read within the last couple of weeks. Bruce is a bear, a very grumpy bear. The only thing he likes is eggs. But he doesn't just have any old eggs. He gets his recipes off the internet. And he finds a recipe for goose eggs. So he gets all the ingredients, including the eggs, and before he has a chance to cook them, they hatch. And now he has these little goslings who call him Mama and follow him around, and he doesn't like cute, fluffy things. So now he's stuck with all of these goslings, and it's how he handles them. So he is now Mother Bruce. Very cute. Now, I saved the best for last. You've heard me say it's my new favorite book. Well, now this is my new favorite book. It's also by Ryan T. Higgins, and it's We Don't Eat Our Classmates. This is Penelope. She is a T-Rex, and it's her first day of school. And she loves children because they're so delicious. And it's really hard to get through this without laughing, but I'm going to show you a couple of pictures. She eats all of her classmates, and her teacher says, "Did you eat all your classmates?" You can see she's got her little cheeks all stuffed. And she tells her, "Penelope, spit them out right now." And there's all the little children with their dinosaur slime and spit attached to them. And she just cannot understand why nobody likes her. And she even goes home and her daddy asks her, "How was your first day?" And he says, "Did you eat your classmates?" And she goes, "Well, maybe a little." So she does learn. I'm not going to tell you how, because I really want you to come in and read this book, as many people as possible. She does learn how not to eat your classmates, even when they're covered in barbecue sauce. So Penelope is precious, my new favorite book, and I want everybody to come in here and look at Penelope. Now we're going to talk a little bit about summer reading. Our theme this year is Tales and Tales, so it's all about animals. And I have decided that each week we're going to have a different theme. And one week it's going to be pigs, one week it's going to be horses. We have, let's see, what else do we have? Hippos. We have animals from around the world. We have Elizabeth, Queen of the Seas, who is an elephant seal in New Zealand. We have the Russian dogs that went into space. And we just have some fun stories. We also have, one week is going to be Animals Helping People. And this is Tuesday Tucks Me In. Let's see. It is by Luis Carlos Montalban. He is a soldier with PTSD, and Tuesday is his dog that helps him out. I have to show you this picture because this is wonderful. This is what he wakes up to every morning. And how could you not want to wake up to this face? So we also have more books for each theme, but this is one for animals helping people. We also have people helping animals. And this is Anna and Samia by Paul Meisel. It is the true story of this lady who saves a baby rhinoceros. And she even takes it into her home when it's a really tiny baby and it sleeps in her bed until it gets too old to be in the house and too big, and she does train it to go back into the wild. So this is animals helping people. People helping animals. Now we have animals helping other animals. This is Two Bobbies by Kirby Larson and Mary Nethery. And this is the story of a cat and a dog, both named Bobby. They were abandoned after Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans. And they band together and they help each other and stay together until they find forever homes. And they do end up together forever. This is another one that I've titled this week, Animals That Move. This is Dog on Board. This is another wonderful face, especially the one on the back cover. It is written by Dorothy Henshaw Patton and Jeffrey Young. This dog's name is Eclipse, and he and his owner ride the bus every day to go to the dog park. He even has his own bus pass. Well, one day he's waiting for the bus, and it comes, the doors open, he gets on, and he realizes his owner is not behind him. So Eclipse goes to the dog park anyway. And he goes to the dog park every day on the bus, whether his owner is with him or not. So he is a dog on the move, besides being just beautiful. So I hope you have enjoyed our book talk for this month. I hope you'll come in and look at these books. We'll have more about summer reading, themed Tales and Tales, with all these wonderful animal books. We have crafts, we have experiments, we have color sheets and word puzzles. Everything is tied in together. So take a look at my shirt, treat your shelf to a good book, and come in the library and find a good book to put on your shelf until it's time to bring it back. So you have a wonderful day, and I hope you have found something that you would like to come in and read. Thank you for listening.